And good morning, everyone. Moneyshow is pleased to welcome Michael Moe, CEO of Cooler Technology Group, Inc. Michael is a technology entrepreneur and successful investor with over 20 years of experience in technology management, product development, and marketing. From 2007 to 2015, he served as Senior Director of Business Development at Amlogic, Inc. Prior to Amlogic, he was co-founder and CEO of Simpeer Technology, a peer-to-peer network company. Mr. Moe received a master's degree in electrical engineering from UC Santa Barbara in 1995. Michael, such a pleasure to have you here. It's all yours.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for your time. Today, I'd like to give our investor an update on Cooler Technology Group. Quick introduction about Cooler Technology. We come from over 30 years of heritage of developing carbon fiber thermal management solutions for space applications. Our products are trusted by NASA and used on the Mars Rover 2020 program, on the International Space Station, and numerous aerospace and defense applications. Our mission is to take these space-proven technologies and apply them to the world of lithium-ion batteries and electronics to keep them cooler, lighter, and safer. Our customers include the likes of Lockheed Martin, Airbus, Raytheon, and other commercial customers. Our technologies target multiple billion-dollar markets, which we will talk about, and our management team have decades of experience in technology product development, marketing, and public company finances. Quick introduction about the Cooler Technology portfolio. Our core technology is a carbon fiber matrix material that's very lightweight and conducts heats more efficiently than other materials. On the battery safety side, our Hydro TRS is used on the International Space Station to store the astronauts' laptop batteries and the Microsoft Surface Pro safely without the risk of explosion on board. The Lyra ISC technology is something that NASA invented to test for battery safety for space applications. Cooler is the exclusive licensee and commercialization partner for that. Now it's used by electric vehicles, electric transportation, aviation, and energy storage companies to test for their commercial batteries. The ERA is a technology that's on board Mars Rover 2020 to keep the Sherlock instruments operating in ideal conditions on Mars. The crux is our carbon fiber cathode material used for direct energy DoD applications. We solve heat and safety problems for batteries and electronics. As many of you may know, that batteries can overheat, catch fire, or even explode. This problem can lead to cars, warehouses, and even passenger jets catch on fire. And also electronics and chips can overheat that will reduce the system performance and reliability. Our proprietary core technology is a carbon fiber material that provides superior conductivity and heat conductivity in an ultra lightweight compliant configuration. Our patented technologies isolate and contain the fire and explosions. We have trade secrets and IP in manufacturing this carbon fiber material, and we make our own equipment to build these structures. The Cooler engineering team has been working together for over 20 years together, and we have 10 patents, with the most recent providing protection up to 2036. As excited as we're about space mission applications, we're more excited about the opportunities to apply technologies into multiple billion-dollar markets, such as energy storage, electrical transportation, and 5G and cloud computing infrastructure. The global lithium-ion battery market will hit $100 billion by 2024. We believe battery safety and sustainability is a critical aspect of enabling this $100 billion market. The lithium-ion battery recycling industry will grow to $18.1 billion by 2030, and transportation safety is a critical component of this industry that is essential to make the renewable energy revolution sustainable. The EV market is forecast to grow from 3.3 million units in 2019 to over 27 million units by 2030. And the global thermal management materials and device market is to reach over $16 billion by 2024, driven by the proliferation of cloud computing, AI, and the upcoming 5G deployment, where more data, faster networks, and smaller devices driving the need for ever better heat management. Here's our growth strategy. We collaborate and innovate with government agencies such as NASA, US Air Force, and Department of Energy to develop cutting-edge technologies. Then we work with the government agencies and regulatory bodies such as UN, FAA, G27 to bring awareness to coolers technology to be included in the regulatory roadmaps. Then we apply these technologies to commercial mass market applications such as electric transportation, energy storage, and 5G cloud computing. Here are some of the examples of the government and DoD customer engagements. Kohler supplied the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, with ISC technology to evaluate passenger lithium-ion battery malfunctions that can cause fire and smoke incidents onboard aircrafts. The most exciting event for 2020 was the launch of the Mars rover Perseverance rover in July. Kohler's heatsink was part of the Sherlock instrument on the rover on its way to Mars. Our heatsinks keep the optics and the sensor of the rover in optimal operating conditions. We're literally the eyes and they are the eyes and ears of the rover looking for signs of life on Mars. We work with NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center to build 3D printed battery systems for manned and robotic space applications. The goal is to 3D print our battery solution on the moon as part of the Artemis project going to the moon by 2024. Our TRS storage solution is on board the ISS to protect laptop batteries and Microsoft Surface Pro 5 from battery fires and explosion. We work with DoD prime contractors such as Lockheed Martin, Leidos, and others on hypersonic, direct energy, and other missile programs. On the commercial side, we have recently announced a number of commercial customer engagements. We partner with Airbus Defense Space for use of the Kohler's passive propagation resistant PPR solution for research of lithium-ion battery safety and tests in in-flight applications. Kohler has a partnership with a leading global electronics component and battery manufacturer, which is a leading supplier of key electronic components in smartphones such as Apple iPhone, to build internal short circuit battery testing technology and for Kohler to license its passive resistance PPR technology to the partner in commercial phase. We're working with Volta Energy Products to provide our PPR technology for implementation in stationary storage modules for energy grid applications. We partner with Silicon Valley-based Draco Motors to use our carbon fiber FTI technology to cool its battery. Draco is a ultra high performance electric supercar that's 1,200 horsepower with top speed of 206 miles per hour. We're literally deploying the thermal technology on Mars rover 2020 for the fastest EV on the planet. We believe these markets like battery recycling and stationary energy storage are essential to building the sustainable energy future. Kohler will focus on developing technologies and products serving these markets. We take a multi-pronged approach to serve our customers in different markets. Most of our engagements start with engineering, design, and testing services. Once we've developed a customized solution for the customer, we offer them the product for sale or IP licensing for high volume customers. This allows the customer the flexibility to integrate our products into the supply chain, making it more scalable and potentially lower cost for everybody. It's important for our shareholders to know that Kohler's business model continued to evolve from being a component supplier to providing more design and testing service to our customers. And the next phase of the evolution is to provide total system solutions to address market needs. To scale up as a system provider more quickly and efficiently in markets such as energy storage systems, direct energy, hypersonic vehicle, thermal management, and lithium-ion battery recycling, Kohler will actively seek partnerships for joint ventures, technology licensing, and other strategic partner models. The goal is to leverage Kohler's energy management design expertise and portfolio of IPs to create market-leading products, which Kohler will take to market directly and capture more value for our shareholders. Here's a quick introduction about our management team. My name is Michael Mo. I'm the co-founder and CEO of the company. I've been in the semiconductor and technology industry for over 25 years. I received my undergrad and master's degree in electrical engineering, computer science from UC Santa Barbara. Dr. Tim Knowles have over 30 years of experience in thermal management and high power energy market with carbon fiber. He has a PhD in physics from UC San Diego. He's led the team to develop products for the ISS, Mars rover program, Mercury Messenger thermal systems, and many others. Simon Westbrook, our CFO, has been the CFO for NASDAQ public companies, as well as private technology companies since the 1990s. Mike Carpenter is our VP of engineering. He has been in the field and working with him for over 30 years. Here's a snapshot overview of KULR Technology Group. Throughout 2020, we have strengthened our balance sheet with almost $9 million in cash as at the end of the year. Our burn rate is approximately $200,000 per month. We have a strong and growing patent portfolio. Our insider ownership is approximately 45%. With the recent $8 million equity financing, we're well capitalized to execute our business objectives in 2021 and beyond. Proceeds from the financing round will be used to build out our management team, to increase R&D efforts, increase our production capabilities, and sales and marketing activities. We have been trading on the OTC market since 2018. We recently filed our 14C for the board to take certain actions to prepare for uplist to a national senior exchange. Our space-proven battery safety and thermal technology is a critical platform play for multiple billion-dollar growth markets, such as electrical transportation, energy storage, and others. We have a robust and growing patent portfolio, both developed internally and through exclusive licensing arrangements with NASA and DOE. Our business model evolution is a transition from a component supplier to an integrated design and testing partner supplier to our customers, and ultimately as a total system provider to capture more value for our shareholders. We look forward to a strong growth year in 2021, and hopefully on a senior national exchange to attract more investor shareholders to join our mission to make the world of battery and electronics cooler, lighter, and safer. That concludes my presentation for today.
All right, Michael, thank you so much for that fantastic presentation. Very informative. We had a few viewers' questions here. One question came in, they're wondering, does your technology include recharging an EV during use on longer trips?
Yes, well, a part of the, one of the killer apps for EV is going to be fast charging. So the limitation for fast charging is how cool can you keep the batteries. So some of the development that we're working on is for fast charging. And then for higher performance EVs, if you drive really fast, it's discharge. So that's also fast discharge. That's also requires a really good thermal management to keep the battery safe, so you can accelerate faster, you can drive faster. So so one of the examples that I gave was for Draco Motors, which is a really fast EV, and we literally taking our thermal architecture on the Mars rover and International Space Station to apply to keep the batteries cool for these applications.
All right, excellent. Thank you. Another viewer here, such an interesting technology. You don't see it out there that often. Are there any competitors?
I think thermal management is a very large field, but we are unique in its way of solving it with carbon fiber. I think we're one of the very, very few companies or organizations in the world that solve that problem. So we pride ourselves in high performance, lightweight, And then now the key is to scale it up and apply to many, many more applications. So hopefully in the coming quarters and years, you will see a proliferation of this technology in mass market applications.
All right, excellent. Thank you. Another viewer here, they're wondering, one, do you know when you may be approved for listing? And also, do you plan to do a reverse split to uplist?
Yeah, that's a great question. We're certainly authorized to do well. The board has been authorized to do the reverse split, and really the main purpose or the only purpose to do the reverse split, if necessary, is to meet the price requirement of Nasdaq or New York Stock Exchange. So the timing is really depending on our approval process with the national exchange. So I won't want to speculate at this moment, but we're working as hard as we can to meet all the requirements. So stay tuned.
All right, excellent. Another viewer here, um, they're wondering, what technology in the future will replace lithium ion batteries?
Yeah, great question. I think there's a lot of there's so much investment in batteries now. The big play now is solid state batteries. No, so you have companies like QuantumScape that just went public with a spec. But I think their roadmap is for 2024 to be starting to build out the commercial version of that, start getting EV. I think really what you're looking at, mass adoption of that technology, I think is later this decade, probably closer to 2030 to be maybe a 20-30% kind of a market player. We see that just using the existing architecture of lithium-ion battery, improve some of the components in there to increase energy density, improve some of the separator technology, the cathode anode technology, can still squeeze a lot of juice out of these batteries. So we still see that a lot of runway with the current architecture in lithium-ion battery technology. So the key is to make them safe and make them sustainable. So that's the core mission of KULR, is to make the lithium-ion battery safe and long-term sustainable.
All right, thank you so much. Another attendee here, they're wondering, when do you see yourself to be cash flow break even?
Great question. I think that we have been running a fairly good gross margin. Our goal is to get to have establish a really good model as we scale up to get to profitability. However, in this market, I think that investors are looking for a lot of growth. There's a lot of room for growth. So we coming from, honestly, we coming from a fairly small base on the revenue side. For the next couple of years, the key objective for the company is go for growth. There's so much opportunity in the market, so we would continue to invest in the R&D. We'll continue to invest in the sales and marketing of our technology, invest in capability to scale up. So top line growth will be the core objective of the company over the next couple of years. And then meanwhile, establishing the business model and the business structure of which that you can be long-term very profitable.
All right, excellent. Thank you. Another viewer here, they're wondering, are there any other EV contracts coming in the future? And will there be more mass market manufacturers, say, to the general public for general public use?
Yeah, great question. I think that the battery application is so broad. EV is obviously a very, very important market for that. You will see more announcements and technology development from us on the what I call the electrical transportation side. So there's the mass market EV, there's the commercial EV, there's the low speed EV. Just mobility in general is such a huge area. So we'll continue to invest a lot of R&D and marketing, behind that. On top of that, there is obviously a proliferation of renewable energy usage across all different markets, from the outdoor power equipment market. So you're going to see lawnmowers, leaf blowers, the outdoor equipment market, which is a $30 billion market, that's moving from diesel engines to lithium-ion batteries, right? So, and then you're going to see a lot of energy storage with the sustainable energy revolution, if you will. The key ingredient to make that happen is energy storage. So lithium-ion battery energy storage for that is really critical. So our effort will be, a lot of that will be focused on these tangential markets, which are just growing very, very quickly.
All right, thank you so much. Another viewer here, they're wondering if you are expecting a longer term to be acquired or be acquired of another strategic company yourself.
Well, interesting question. I've been in the technology industry for 25 plus years. There's technology always evolve, and technology companies always consolidate. To really generate a lot of shareholder value, you either grow by consolidating with other either vertical technology and companies to grow much bigger scale into multi-billion-dollar markets, or you get consolidated for that. So we're actually strong. Well, I'm personally a strong believer of either one of those. But at this stage, I think there's so much kind of open field ahead of us in this market, at least for the next 5 years or so. You just gotta run as fast as you can. That being said, I think that access to capital, which getting onto a national exchange would really enhance that. Access to capital, access to liquidity, access to large shareholder base is critical for that. And I think eventually there will be multiple winners in the field of sustainable renewable energy. And we would definitely would work hard to make cooler technology to be one of those winners, because I personally really believe that there will be multiple billion-dollar franchises to be created to serve this market.
All right, excellent. Another viewer here, they're wondering, how far does your market reach? I know we talked about the U.S. Space Force, space companies. What are there other global companies out there that you're working with?
I think, yeah, if you're talking about space, then it's a fairly narrow kind of a market that we're fairly focused for U.S. companies. We work with NASA, obviously, prime contractors. So that part of the government and government agency and DoD contracts is where, like we talked about, our growth strategy is where we kind of cut our teeth in developing these cutting edge technologies. We kind of feel the mission that for national security, national competitiveness, that we should really continue our heritage in serving those markets. So we're not working with other players from other geography on those cutting edge technology. But whereas taking that technology and work into standard bodies, that's more of a global exercise, because you have UN regulations, G27, as well as cross-border safety and other regulations that we got to follow. So that's more cross-border. And in terms of commercial applications, then you have a lot of greenfield ahead. So hopefully that answers that question.
All right, perfect. And with the recent, see you partner with Marshall Space Flight Center, with the recent Space Force moving over there to Huntsville. Do you plan on keeping manufacturing solely out on the West Coast, or do you plan on having other facilities where you manufacture as well?
Yeah, a great question. So far, all of our NASA, space, and DoD related, the projects have been manufactured in our facility in San Diego. At least for 2021, we expect to continue it that way. And I think that the parts are fairly lightweight. They're small. They're compact enough that transportation is not, a terribly a large cost equation. So I think that in the foreseeable future, having it centralized in our current facility is the goal.
All right, excellent. Thank you. Looks like here there's an entity. They're wondering, does looks like they're asking if you're into, I don't know if you're into any ETFs or if you're traded in any ETFs.
Yeah, I'm not aware that we're in any ETF at this moment. I think that the function of being an ETF will be driven by when we become part of a national exchange, or national senior exchange like Nasdaq or New York Stock Exchange. I think that would afford us the opportunity to be included in an ETF, and I think that would be kind of the next chapter of our growth, as I talked about, increase institutional investor base, and having more and more people understand the cooler story.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Looks like we have about 5 minutes here, folks. So keep the questions coming. Great questions so far. Another question a viewer's asking. They're wondering, isn't lithium iron phosphate more energy dense and better than lithium ion?
Lithium iron phosphate, so LFPs. Our experience has been that LFPs are probably a little bit of a safer chemistry, but lower energy density. So you still see some of the, I believe some of the, the current the RV markets, and some of the other markets that are using LFP battery cells. They tend to be somewhere around 100 to 150, maybe up to um, uh, watts per kilogram in energy density. But the lithium ion batteries, we can achieve, 250, 300 kilowatts per, uh, watt hour per kilogram in terms of energy density. So lithium ion is definitely, should be a higher energy density.
All right, excellent. Thank you. Another viewer here, they're wondering, what's your cash to debt balance, and do you also have the financials posted anywhere?
Yes, the financial, I think, as end of the Q3 last year has been posted on our website. We recently raised $8 million financing, closed the last day of the year, 2020. Um, and I think that we filed a pro sup on that. So it has a pro forma kind of a balance sheet on that. And as of end of the last year, our cash balance is almost 9 million. I think $8.9 million in cash. We have approximately 2.2 million in notes payable as end of the last year. So we're net cash about, about almost 7 million. Sorry, 6 point some $million. Yeah. Um, and so those are financials as a pro forma as end of the Q3 last year. I believe it's available on both our website and on the SEC website. Um, like I said, that cash balance or net cash balance has given us a lot of cushion to allow us to plan ahead and fully capitalize to execute our plan in 2021. So hopefully that answers that question.
All right, perfect. Another viewer here, they're wondering, is it true that there's insufficient lithium reserves to supply some of these car manufacturers, like GM?
Yeah, I think that's the great debate, or the great um, hunt for natural resource. And which is why we believe that sustainability is so important to maintain this renewable energy revolution. So safety is one very key aspect of it, and the number two will be a recyclability, because once the mineral is off the ground, You don't want it to go into the ground again after 10 years of use and be wasted. To keep a life cycle closed loop system of once it's get off the ground, maybe as efficient as possible to make batteries out of it, keep it longevity by maintaining the heat, by maintaining it safe. Then afterwards, how do you close the loop for these batteries to have second life applications and also end of life applications to make it fully recyclable, so the materials could be reused for new generation of a new batch of batteries. That's something that it's very near and dear to our heart, and we're working hard on developing IP ourselves, looking at licensing tangential IPs to complement what we have developed and what we plan to develop, and to close that the circle of life of lithium ion battery to make it sustainable. And I think that's just critical for the success of the industry.
All right, perfect. And last one here. Looks like we have time for one more. They're wondering if your company sounds like it's pretty poised to move into the 5G revolution as well.
Yeah, that's there's a lot of work being done in the industry to advance to faster networks, whether it's 5G, satellite communication, and so forth. So as things get smaller, as things get faster, heat becomes a limiting factor for both performance and reliability. So we're actively looking at how to use our technology, working with partners to deploy into those areas. So 5G, fast communication, vehicle to vehicle communication, and frankly, the upcoming autonomous, drive. There's so many computers and communication chips and lidars and lasers and everything in these cars and in these devices. So keeping them cool is definitely going to be critical.
All right, everyone. We are speaking with Michael Moe, CEO of Cooler Technology Group. Michael, thank you so much for being here. It's greatly appreciated. Fantastic presentation. We can't wait to see what you and your company do for the future and mankind.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for the great questions, and thanks for everybody's time to listening to me.